So most partners are waiting for account executives, AEs, who have a lot on their plate, new targets, new tools, and really they're so busy and there's so much churn at the moment, they've got probably less reason to call you. Meanwhile, 81% of SaaS partners will grow below the industry rate this year. How do I know that? Because Jay McBain, a good friend of mine, has got a database of 35,000 to get to that number. So it's not a made-up number. It's coming from Jay, and it's something that all of us in the industry are facing. Effectively what's happened in the Salesforce ecosystem, which most of you are very familiar with, is there's been more partners and less growth. So effectively 2/3 less growth over the last 3 years, and the partners doubled, right? So that's put the whole squeeze on what is the old playbook. And the old playbook was, you collect your certs, you stuck them everywhere, particularly on your website, which we're going to talk about. You go and attend events, you meet people in person, then you play whack-a-mole with the AEs because they're there 1 minute, they're gone the next, they're in one vertical, they're gone. We've all played that game. You wine and dine a few, you do the lunch and learns, you do all those things. And then you get business. You repeat it, you pray, and you really hustle like crazy. Well, that's the old world. And in particular, that was the old world before digital has really taken effect. I'm going to tell you in a moment, effectively, how that has changed so much. But the new way of doing things is you've got to really own your marketing. And you've got to pick a vertical. Jay, in his recent report, just talks so much about the people that are succeeding are those that pick a vertical, or in my language, pick a niche, and then you build leverage and you have your own freedom, right? You're not reliant upon the partner platform or the SaaS company, in this case being Salesforce. And your website talks about what you do is often what I see. Your clients decide before they call. And there's 28 moments is the research now, once again from Jay McBain. He's saying that 28 moments they will interact digitally normally before they even come to your first sales meeting. So what are you doing in those 28 moments is what counts. It's not the last component. This is an example of a client that I work with. Your systems are holding you back. It's time to rebuild and upgrade with Salesforce. That was what the first day that I had the sales call with them, that's what I came across. And not that inspiring, right? And it's very features based. It's about the platform and it's about the features. It's not about the results. And, what you really want to do is become the partner your clients find before they call Salesforce. That's how you generate your own marketing. That's how you generate your own pipeline. So I worked for Coca-Cola for 20 of those 140 years. And my father worked for roughly 35 and my wife worked there as well. So they used to joke that when you cut my veins, Coke would flow rather than blood. But the key message here is that bottle contains really two key things, sugar and water. Now, if you went to someone and said, hey, I've got this brilliant option for you. It's sugar, 12 teaspoons of sugar and water. Someone will say, you're crazy. I'm not going to drink that, right? So it was all about the positioning. They never talked about the product, the sausage. They talked about the sizzle. And they talked about, here, the key tagline was refresh yourself, but they always talked about the emotional or the benefit that the person drinking it would get rather than what the product was itself. And if they've been successfully doing this for 140 years, we can learn a lot from that. That's where I get my inspiration, working there for 20 years. And often what I see on people's websites is it's all about the certifications they've got, the clouds that they cover. It's all about things that aren't selling that sizzle, right? It's not about refresh yourself. It's about, hey, I've got sugar in a can or a sugar in a bottle. Would you like to have it? And ultimately, the partners who win pick a client, they pick a message or a positioning, and then they build everything around both of that. And that's where Tony and I work so well together. I look after the positioning, and Tony will now talk about the platform that you put that positioning on. Over to you, Tony.
Thanks. What will your clients pay for? So without unified data, this is quite a funny example of, if any of you have heard of this scenario, but Chevrolet and Watsonville in the USA added a GPT chatbot to their site. And when one of their visitors, someone probably set this up and came along and asked, what's a good luxury fast accelerating sedan? And it recommended a Tesla. So it wasn't looking at their own site, it was going out on the web and picked out Tesla as a better car. So this is implementing AI without guardrails. When you're doing it with Salesforce and Agentforce, you've got everything built in there. All those guardrails are there. And as I mentioned before, 4 full-time staff replaced with AI agents is not only possible, it's actually being done. And not only that, we had another client that has 72 websites, and just implementing Store Connect by itself, they went from 4 full-time staff logging in, changing products, logging into 72 websites, to actually one person doing it part-time, because all they have to do is go to Store Connect, change one product, changes all 72 websites. Right?
I talked about, the old playbook used to be that leads fell in your lap. They weren't competitively price matched. You weren't doing, free POCs. That used to be the old world. The new world is where you've really got to generate your own leads and your own marketing. And I was at Dreamforce last year in 25, and, I was talking to many partners behind the scene. They were getting me to help them with their positioning and also their in particular, their outreach with LinkedIn outreach, etc., to build that so they're not reliant upon AEs, because that side of it has definitely dropped. And as I said before, those 28 touch points, now people are researching you. And when I say people are researching you, what we all know is that the AI is researching you and the agents are researching you, right? And they need quality information to do, right? So yes, referrals are still going to be a key part of your business, but moving forward, as you grow, it's not necessarily about referrals. It's about what people are saying when you're not in the room, which is ultimately what marketing is. And the way that people find out what you're saying when you're not in the room is through your website and what you have on your website. So that's why the positioning is so important, and you want to own that. And, thank you for participating either live or through the replay today. What's your key takeaway from today? I'd love to hear. Want weekly insights on who to target and what to sell? Join my newsletter at paulhigginsmentoring.com/newsletter and share this with another tech consultant ready to escape the project grind.